Welcome back to Cabin View Ventures. So I want to take a little break from the firewood action today because I want to give you guys a follow-up review on my 2024 F250. Now I bought this truck 2 months ago. I've put about 2,000 miles on it. So I thought it would be a good time to give you my thoughts on how I feel about this truck. Because if you don't know, previously I had a 2024 Chevy Silverado 2500 LT. I love that truck. There was absolutely nothing wrong with it, but I wanted to build a basic work truck strictly for the firewood business. I didn't need, that LT was pretty loaded up, so I didn't need all the features and options. I wanted to cut the cost down a little bit, and I just liked what the XL package on the Ford gave me over Chevy's work truck package. So that's really the only reason I went with the Ford. Plus I really like the look of it. I think it has a nice old school look to this truck. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna do a quick walk around right now, just kind of briefly show you guys some of the features, the few features I had added to this truck. And I did a full walk around video of this when I first bought it, so I will link that video to the end. I go over all the options, all the features, kind of do a comparison to the Silverado I had, and talk a little bit more about why I decided to go with this truck over the Chevy. So I'm gonna flip you guys around. We'll do a quick walk around the truck. I need to wash this thing, so we're gonna do a quick wash on it. Then I'll give you my thoughts, and then I want to show you guys a little upgrade that we're going to do to this truck that is really going to improve the appearance, I think. So let me show you what we got. All right, so like I just said, this is a 2024 F250 XL with the 6.8 liter V8 and the 430 axle ratio. And that right there is one of the biggest reasons I decided to go with this truck. I really wanted that 430 axle ratio with having that smaller V8. So this is the smallest V8 you can get for this truck. So far, it's been plenty of power for the hauling and towing I've done. I haven't done any heavy towing, just my 7K trailer loaded up with about a quart of firewood. That's the heaviest thing I've towed so far. But as you can see, the biggest option I added to this truck is the XL off-road package. It gives you these 33-inch tires. You get the smaller front air dam, and then you get all the skid plates. I did not get the FX4 off-road package. I just didn't need it. I already have the skid plates from the XL off-road package, and we might do a little suspension update to this coming up. So XL off-road package was the biggest one I added. The chrome bumpers, this is antimatter blue, so it's a really dark blue. I thought the chrome bumpers looked really nice, so I decided to add those. And then I got all the max towing and payload features, which we're going to talk a little bit more about later. But we've got the camper and the snowplow prep. And then along with that 430 axle ratio, we've got a tow rating of 16,600 pounds. And payload is just under 4,000, 3,823 pounds. So good payload, really good towing. And the fuel mileage has actually been surprisingly not too bad with that lower gear ratio. So far I'm getting about 12 miles per gallon with my around town country road driving. We don't have anything flat where I live here in Pennsylvania. And our highway driving is right at 14.3. So, but we're only at 2,000 miles. Once this thing breaks in, maybe gets closer to 10,000 miles, that number should go up a little bit. All right, let's get this thing washed. All right, guys, the truck is clean. I am going to put a little spray on ceramic wax because the paint is pretty dry after all those power washings. So what are my thoughts after 2 months and 2,000 miles of ownership? So far, I am really enjoying just how basic this truck is. I did not get any fancy tech packages. No 360 camera, no big screen, no blind spot detection, no adaptive cruise control. You know, all that stuff that we're getting so used to on our cars. You almost forget that you spent most of your life driving without that stuff and you don't really need it. I can drive just fine without it. So it's been very refreshing to not have all those features. It's just a simple truck. It works. You know, I just got the vinyl interior. It's got the smaller 8-inch screen, which is plenty big. You know, there's absolutely no problem with backing up, hooking up a trailer. You know, you can do all that easily in one shot. And visibility out of this truck is actually really good. A little bit better than the Chevy. I think the Chevy sat a little bit taller, and this truck is, you know, very easy to see out of. Very few blind spots, and the tow mirrors. I mean, you know, with these tow mirrors, really on any of these heavy-duty trucks, oh, hi, oh, you finished your snack? Yeah. I got a little helper today. So with these heavy-duty mirrors, or with these tow mirrors on these heavy-duty trucks, you can see everything in your blind spot. So you don't even really need side assist or those side view cameras because the visibility is so darn good. One of my absolute favorite features of this truck, right there. I'm not gonna put this down all the way because we have a little surprise in the back of the truck there. A manually opening tailgate. And these tailgates, I mean, everything on this truck is aluminum, but I mean, this tailgate is super light. No electronic push button to open, which all the trucks are going to that nowadays, which is really, really annoying. So, all right, guys, so one of the big things I wanted to get to was the stance of this truck. And it's one of the things I'm slightly disappointed in. Now, this is not the best parking spot for this because I'm not perfectly level, but this truck has almost no rake to it. It's almost perfectly level, the rear compared to the front suspension. The rear sits about a ½ inch taller, so very minimal difference from front to rear. And again, it might be a little hard to pick up on the camera, but this is partly my fault because I didn't quite understand what the camper and snowplow prep were going to do besides give it a stiffer spring rate. But nothing in Ford's literature tells you how much it's going to change the ride height of the truck or how much stiffer that spring actually is. So over the stock spring, the snowplow prep gives you a 1-up spring rate, and then the camper prep gives you an additional 1-up over the snowplow prep, or a 2-up over the standard spring. And all of that equates to a little bit of a ride height difference. Exactly how much, I'm not sure. I mean, I've read stuff that says it's, you know, could be anywhere from a ½ inch to an inch higher than the standard suspension on the truck. So, because of that, you have an almost level truck.
Right, second now.
Now, if we look at the rear suspension, this is, I think this is pretty standard on all the F250s except for the Tremor. I don't know how well you can see it, but there's a lift block right there. And that lift block is 2 inches. So from what I have found on all the F250s minus the Tremor package is a 2-inch lift block. The Tremor package trucks have a 3-inch lift, or 3.5-inch lift block. So with the additional ride height you get from the camper and snowplow, at least I think you get some ride height. This is, again, from what I'm reading, what I'm looking at with other trucks that don't have those options. You know, it looks like those two packages give you some additional ride height in the front, which makes sense. If you have that stiffer spring, you know, a much stiffer spring that's meant to have a snowplow hanging off of it, you know, it's not going to sag as much, so it's going to sit a little bit higher when you don't have a snowplow attached. So what I'm thinking, because I want to get more ride height in the back, I want this to have more of that traditional 4x4 look to it. So what we're going to do is give this thing kind of a mini Tremor lift kit. We're not going to change the front at all, but what we're going to do is add the Tremor lift blocks, and then we're going to upgrade the shocks while we're in there. Now the pictures, the old, I think they're like the 4700s, but these are actually the Bilstein 5100s, so front and rear. So those are going to be a nice upgrade over the stock suspension. But for the rear, we're going to do the lift blocks and the shocks, but we're not doing any kind of spacer lift on the front. So let's open these up and check them out. So we've got the Bilstein 5100s. These are going to be the front shocks in this box. So let's just crack one open. Just prove to you guys these aren't the, I think it's the 4700s. Ugh. There we go. So that's going to be a nice upgrade over the stock shock that is on this truck. And in here we're going to have the rear shocks. I think these are the rears. Or maybe these are the fronts. No, I think those are the rears. So, there we go. Right. And then the big part of it, so the only place I was able to find those Tremor lift blocks was from CJC Offroad. I'll put a link to that in the comment section or down in my video description. So CJC Offroad, and this is straight from Ford. You've got the U-bolts. So it's nice that this is, you know, a Ford kit. And then in each box, there you go, you've got your lift block. Stamped Ford. So that's going to be the same exact block that they put on the Tremor package, 250s and I guess 350s, probably the same package. So what my hope is that, you know, we get those rear lift blocks on there, we get that rake back into the truck, get this thing looking the way it should, you know, a proper 4x4. You know, I like that kind of old school look like the 70s and 80s trucks had. So I think this is going to do the trick. So stay tuned. I'll get this stuff on pretty soon, and then I'll show you guys how it turned out. All right, guys, that is going to wrap things up for today. Let me know if you have any questions or comments. Stay tuned to see what this mini Tremor lift kit looks like. And if you want to watch my full walk around review of this truck, I will put a link to that right at the end of this video. So thanks again, and I will see you on the next one.